So we've got a very popular shoe in right now, and the reason being is that we wanted to try and see if these were worthy of the hype. Hey, what's going on, guys? My name's Chris. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel. Today we got a detailed look and breakdown on what could be considered some bad boys right here, especially according to a lot of people. These are very popular right now, and this is the New Balance 1906R. And I basically wanted to see if these guys were worthy of the hype. And I don't mean hype beast standards of hype, where things have resale value and whatever else, I don't know. Not that kind of hype. I'm talking about popularity type of hype, like pop music. All kinds of music can be considered pop music, even though pop music in and of itself is its own kind of genre. But pop music by definition is just popular music, so it could be damn near anything. So are these like the pop of sneakers right now? Are they gonna be like here today and gone tomorrow? I don't know. All I know is that I've tested them out. I've got 3 pairs here. So we're gonna go over a slight bit of what they are, what they consist of, their tech specs, how this all translates to daily wear, and at the end of everything, we're gonna say whether or not they are worthy of the hype. I'm just gonna get this part out of the way before I forget. This is the insole, and it's actually quite comfortable. It's pretty good. It's not structured or anything like that, so it doesn't have a plate in there or nothing like that, but it is molded. I like the way that it fits and feels. You've got nice little pillows or craters in there, so it gives you a little bit of something extra as far as stepping comfort is concerned. So overall, I dig it. It's completely removable though, so if you don't like this for whatever reason, you could take it out and swap it out for anything else. But as it is right now, I don't think this is a complete piece of shit. The material might be, but the way that they constructed it, not so much. Now, the 1906R is an interesting shoe because it's kind of a hybrid, not something that is out of line for New Balance in and of itself. They like to reuse or repurpose their tooling for many different models, and this one right here is no different. So if you see the midsole and outsole features and be like, oh, well, that looks familiar, it's because they've used it on a few different models already, one of which is the 2002R, and then the other one is the 860 V2. So if you happen to like the comfort of either of those two models, then you may love these right here, or vice versa. If you love the comfort of these and maybe you didn't try either of those, you might want to take a look. The model's namesake, 1906, points towards the brand's actual lineage or heritage. That's the year that the brand was conceived.
It's been 84 years.
So yes, this brand is f***ing old. So when all these people are just like, oh, New Balance has taken over, they've been here. They've been just doing what they do it well, and they've done it well for that long.
They've been being worn by my dads and grandpas forever.
Forever. It is interesting though that like their image, because I've said this before in past New Balance videos, where like this stuff to me has always been considered, and not just by me, but just people that I've been around, grandpa shoes. Not even dad shoes, grandpa shoes. I don't know if that's worse or not, but like it sounds worse.
We have a random question of the day.
For today?
I'll make it today's.
So the outsole is awesome. It's thick, it's rugged, it's durable. This is the pair that I've been wearing. This is just a basic pair, and there's really nothing wrong with them. Like they're just a solid shoe. This pair right here I saw and I was like, oh, and by the way, if you don't like these like sportier versions of the shoe, they even make more elevated premium versions, which is pretty interesting. Same exact midsole and outsole tooling, but the uppers here are just a little bit different. We'll go over that in more detail in a bit, but I just wanted to point it out that they have many variations of this model, so they're kind of like getting in where they can fit in. But anyways, back to the outsole. It's very durable, it's flexible. On top of that, you can see flex grooves all throughout. I really have no complaints. So as far as like an actual daily shoe, pretty solid so far. Now, as far as their cushioning setup is concerned, they have what they're calling Activa Light. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I hope that I am. But it's basically like a lightweight EVA, and it definitely feels light in hand, even though they look kind of chunky, or at least like substantial, but they're not actually. In addition to the light EVA style of midsole, we've got Absorb in the heel. That's these little gel looking areas and stuff. Super comfortable, especially in the back. There is a slight heel to toe drop. I do think that it's noticeable. I don't think that it's necessarily bad, but coming from a space where I mostly wear basketball shoes, or at least I have growing up, they don't have quite as drastic of a heel to toe drop, even though there still is one. So whenever I put on a runner, I can always like kind of feel that. It always feels like it's pushing me on my toes. But overall, I would say that it's super lightweight. It's super comfortable. Is it like boost level comfortable? I would say no. But is it neutral style comfortable? I would say hell yeah. Now the materials vary from pair to pair, so there's lots of variety out here. This is one of those things where go looking, especially at first, online. That's what I would recommend, because there's a ton of colorways of these things. The pair that's in my hand right now is probably one of my favorites. The upper is a very large open-celled mesh, and then you have a bunch of synthetic overlays on top of that, and they're in a variety of colors and material styles and all that kind of good stuff. Whereas the pair that I've been wearing is much more of like a tighter mesh. It's still very breathable and it's still super comfortable. I just like the way that this one feels a lot more. Like you can literally feel the air going through stuff like this, whereas this one felt like it was a little restricted. The overlays are very similar though. They're all kind of synthetic overlays. They're really nothing special as far as the overlays are concerned. So if we're talking New Balance, a lot of people think like premium suedes and nubucks, leathers. These are built more like a 2000s style of, you know, performance runner, but made for daily use. However, that's where the premium versions come in. So there are different models. This one is made of a rugged canvas. The overlays are actual suede, so you've got all that there, and then you've got some veg tan leather right here. This stuff is kind of like naturally treated, and then the more that you wear it, the more that it'll like change color and patina over time. So if you didn't know what veg tan leather is, that's what it is. It's kind of like a natural looking leather, at least at first, and then it ages naturally instead of using stuff like this. So these guys, if you're gonna compare straight away, they just really are missing the mesh, the synthetics, and then the heel counter, which this is made out of leather instead of plastic. So if you wanted premium, they've got it. If you like this style of mesh, they've got it. And if you prefer this style of mesh, they also got it. So you're just gonna have to pay attention. Again, look online, look at all the different various colorways, zoom in if you can, and then try to find them in store if possible. That way you can try them on and all that kind of good stuff. However, the fit is true to size, and I would say that for most people. You're a wide footer and you still went true to size. And a lot of New Balances, I tend to have to go down half a size, but not with these. True to size feels great. So before we determine whether or not these are worthy of the hype, what is today's question of the day?
Based on personality, if your parents were a shoe,
My parents?
which would they be?
Well, my dad would be gone. I didn't know him. He ditched us long ago. By us, I just mean me. I was a single child until my stepdad came in. What shoe would he be? He'd probably be one of these. Or actually, he'd be either a, you don't know this part of him, you only know like very old him, but he would be a Doc Marten. Yes, like a slip-on, the comfort kind.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. He wears slip-on like hiking shoes.
Yes, and that's the other thing, is that he would be, what are those, you have a pair, what are those hiking sandals?
My Tevas?
Yes, that's what it is. He would be one of those, because he's all about comfort, but also practicality. At least he used to be like on his feet all day, but he still likes going outdoors and stuff like that.
He might stumble across a river.
That's the thing, and he will walk through it. He'll make me walk through it, everything,
Okay.
while holding a giant ass backpack. I've went on so many weird ass adventures because of that. You have no idea. And then as far as my mom, the only thing that I could think of is just what I really remember as a kid, her wearing. I always forget the damn name of them. I'll try to find a picture of them, but it's these weird like Reebok. I want to say they were called the Workouts or something like that. But it's from the 80s. Almost everybody had them back then. They were either in a high top or a low top form, I think. Hers had straps on them. They were all black. And yeah, she worked at a printing shop back when they had them. What she would do is strip down film, and she would work on a light table. And when I was sick, I would be like underneath that light table. And she had like a blanket around it and stuff. And I just remember her shoes constantly like going back and forth, grabbing different things. So that's the only thing I could think of. I don't know what her personality and footwear would be. You?
Mine didn't so much go off of personality either. It's more off of like what you
memory.
remember.
Yeah.
And so the whole reason why I was like, oh, I'll pull this question is because of my real dad. He wears work boots all the time. So when he isn't in work boots, he's wearing these busted old gray and white New Balances.
I gave him those.
Yes. Or
they weren't busted when I gave
no.
them. They were new.
Or a pair of Sauconys that you gave him.
Yes.
And he has them so that they're not tied. He simply just slides right in and goes about his business.
Pure comfort.
My mom would be a Birkenstock because that's what she wore the entire time I was growing up. Probably the same pair. My stepdad, he likes to look snazzy. He's also a hoarder. So like whenever he's dressed up, he's
so good. I love the descriptions.
He's always wearing a pair of like Nightwing or WearTesters shoes out and about.
That's
but
right.
if I had
Like
to
those.
yes, if I had to assign him a shoe, it would be those stupid clog posits that you gave him because
They're awesome.
when I think of him, I think of like being at home and what
Yeah,
he's
being
wearing around the
comfortable.
house casually, and he probably still has them in the closet upstairs.
I hope he does.
And
It was
then-
an original pair that I found at the Foot Locker outlet in the Milpitas Mall, and I got them for like $20.
I hate those things so much.
They're amazing.
But they made you happy, they make him happy, whatever. And then my stepmom would be just a pair of classy, think 90s style black high heel pumps, because she was a classy lady, a fun lady, ready to like do anything at a moment's notice, but she wanted to look good, like she was stepping out of Beverly Hills or something.
There you go. But what about you guys? What are your parents in footwear? Is that the question?
Yeah.
So yeah, like if you were to make your family member a shoe, what shoe would they be and
They're all
why?
a Pixar movie now.
Say that again?
We're all a Pixar movie now. We're just a bunch of shoes running around.
You know, that would be a good pitch for Pixar. I'm sure they can make it happen. But overall, in the grand scheme of things, if we're talking about overall like hype and value, not hype beast hype, but just like everybody's kind of wearing them, are they worth that and that alone? Then I would say the New Balance 1906R kind of is.
I knew it.
But sound off below and let us know what you think about these down below in the comment section. Do you own a pair? If you do, which variety? Is it, you know, one of these basic versions with the open-celled mesh? Is it one of the premium versions? Maybe it's one of the collabs. I'd love to know your guys' thoughts. Thank you so much for being here and spending your time with us. We really appreciate it. I hope that this was a fun one for you guys, and we will catch you guys on the next one. So until then, y'all have a good one. Also, if you wanted to leave comments as far as like what other shoes that you feel are hyped, not in the hype beast sense, but again, and just they're very popular, everybody's rocking them, that you think that we should check out and maybe do another one of these, let me know down below. I'd like to know what shoe that might be.